All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cord Sprint Planning for sprint number 5. Let me just get started here. Why is it not showing up? It's not working. Okay, so let's get started. I'm just going to go through all the epics and dragging stories as we see fit. So let's start with the admin GUI. Let's see. For Matteo.
Yeah, try to reload the page.
Yeah.
Because I just dragged it.
Okay.
Yeah. For the sprint, I have a couple of bugs to fix the UI that we upgraded to the new Bootstrap version, and we would like to start testing the REST API to check that everything keeps working after refactoring and in different configuration.
Okay.
Then I left some free times for other code-related tasks that can happen.
All right. What's the current status of the admin UI?
Now it's working.
Mm-hmm.
There are just some minor visual bugs that needs to be fixed.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So 6 story points, and you're the only one working on this?
Hmm?
You're the only one working on this?
Yeah, I started yesterday working on the REST API test.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's move on to XOS monitoring and analytics. Shrikant.
Yeah, in this sprint, we are primarily focusing on integrating the S-Flow into the Paycard platform. So I have added a story for design to model this S-Flow as a service in XOS. That is one big ticket item.
You have S-Flow support from anywhere? I mean, like,
No, that's what. From the platform perspective, we are providing it, and we'll initially test with OVS, and then once we have it on the white boxes, we can integrate with them. Also, in this sprint, we wanted to target some of the other services like VOLT, VBNG, meter integration with the framework.
Okay.
And earlier we had this VCP measurements integrated, but with the VCP containers moved to the bare metal approach, we need to make some changes to fix that, to extract the measurements from the bare metal VCP containers. So I added a task for that. And Raghu from Ericsson is working on one of the stories to enhance the Silometer PubSub framework.
Okay. And do you know what kind of meters you want from the VOLT or the VBNG?
No, that is the activity, like defining and integrating them into that.
Okay. Because the OLT doesn't provide any statistics right now.
Correct.
Last I checked, it doesn't provide any
No,
numbers.
when you're talking about OLT GPON or OLT control plane application?
The control plane application can just tell you who's subscribed, who's online. It can't tell you anything about how much traffic they're sending or anything like that.
Oh, okay, from the data plane, we don't get anything.
Right now, we don't get any numbers. We can meter traffic, as in say like, okay, you have a 10 megabit connection, but we don't get any numbers back right now. But I think we should not focus too much on the fact that the current OLT doesn't do that. Hopefully when we move from the development board to the actual production board, there'll be numbers.
Okay.
But I don't have an answer for that right now. But so we can plan with numbers in mind,
Yes, yes.
at least simple ones, and then we'll see what we have in the long run.
Okay.
So you have 21 story points,
With 2 resources. Yeah.
2 resources. Okay, it's I think because this is like a
3 week.
Yeah, 3 week, 2.5 week, right? If we say today, but really, that's it. 3 week sprints, it should be okay. Do you have anything else to that?
No, that's it.
Okay. Let's move on to the fabric. Saraf?
So the big story in the fabric is the support. Well, okay. We have bridging and routing working, but it was tested with a single controller. So Charles is right now doing some multi-controller tests. Multi-controller was tested earlier with software switches, but now he's doing it with hardware switches. So there's always some differences in timing and so on. So he's working on that right now. And the 2 other big stories for him are there's VLAN cross-connect stuff, which we need for the OLT, and multicast support, which we need for UVerse. Both VLAN cross-connect and multicast has been tested manually, and they appear to work. We just need to add that functionality in the app.
So the VLAN cross-connect from the OLT to the fabric needs a REST API call.
Yeah, so the Charles has some ideas what that REST API call would be.
Okay.
Then the big stories for Flavio are to implement default routes and static routes, which we need to integrate with the vRouter. And he is currently setting up OF test in our lab here. And he'll be setting up the fabric in Atlanta's lab. And then he will start working on automated tests for the fabric. The fabric is now fairly complicated, and we don't have regression tests for it. So he'll be working on a test on framework so that we can idly do these tests. And so I'm focusing mostly on Atrium. So right now, the only thing that I have in this sprint for myself is to refresh the architecture document and implement multicast support in the driver, so that when Charles adds multicast support in the app, that app can already use the driver level support for multicast groups.
Okay.
So in total, we have about 33, 34 points for the 3 of us, which is
For the
somewhat.
For the multicast stuff, we'll also need some sort of some REST API as well.
Yes, that's right.
I mean, we probably could get away with it for the first iteration. We probably could get away without REST API.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we will have to know to deliver which stream to which leaf port,
Yes.
which destination leaf port. So yes, we need a REST API.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
So for multicast, we use all type groups,
We use all type groups, yes.
and we find the optimal point from where we should replicate the traffic, or we always replicate from where the
We
traffic.
always replicate. Okay, so if all the OLTs are on the same leaf, then the replication is done only at that destination leaf. It's unicast through the fabric to the destination leaf, and then it gets multicast over there. If, however, OLTs are spread across multiple leaves, then the replication will be done in the spine.
Find where the traffic is entering, or we compute the best point where we should replicate.
No, see, so it's a 3-hop path, right? So the source leaf will always send to one spine, right?
Okay, got it.
But at the spine, it'll be replicated to 2 destination leaves.
Hmm.
And then further replicated at the destination leaf to whichever ports. so in the data plane, it actually looks like multicast. Like, one hop is, and then it gets replicated, then finally again replicated. So even though we don't use any of the multicast protocols.
And so you have 35 story points. How many resources?
There's 3 of us, but mostly it's the 2 of them and a little bit from me.
Okay.
So it's a little aggressive. I'm not sure we'll get to multicast in this, completely done in this sprint, but we'll try.
Yeah, multicast will involve a lot of trial anyway.
And multicast isn't the highest priority. Highest priority is getting the unicast service chain through from the OLT to the internet. So, but we'll start on multicast at least in this sprint.
Okay.
Larry is saying he can only view, not participate.
Does he have a link?
On the calendar, there is the link to just to view again.
Okay, let me just send it to you because the participant link didn't really work. Yeah, that should be okay. All right. Okay. Okay. XOS Core, Burwell. Some guys online. Scott?
Yeah, I'm here, and I've sent a link to Larry in a chat session. I don't know if you've seen that, Larry.
Yeah, I sent it to him as well. He should be coming in soon. Do you guys have anything for this part, for this XOS Core Burwell stuff?
No, that release is all done. So we could get rid of that.
Okay, so I can just mark that epic as done?
Yes.
Okay. Boom, gone. Okay, I'll deal with that later. I'm guessing also XOS and ecomp, there's no work happening here either?
Yeah, that's right. I don't think we're ready to start on that yet.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so for the OLT work, I'm mostly going to spend time working on. Okay, so mark that epic as done.
Yes.
So I'm mostly going to spend my time implementing the pipeline for the OLT now that we have near flow rule stability on the OLT. So I'm going to implement default flows, the pipeline, the support for the multicast traffic, and Q&Q forwarding. Other work was integration with the fabric for the pseudowire support, or rather the VLAN cross-connect, called pseudowire now because that's what it was supposed to be called at one point, but whatever, we all get it. And the last thing is I'm hoping to get support for multiple controllers from PMC, hopefully this sprint. One thing that's not on here either, but there's no ticket for it yet, is adding a match condition in Q&Q fields, in Q&Q flows, so we can match on source MAC so that people can swap out their RG once they've authenticated. And a final thing that's not really specific to the OLT is hopefully, if I have time, I wanna go around and build a a sequence of events for booting up Cord, for setting up flows on Cord, which parts talk to which parts. So I'll probably have to walk around with everyone here to figure out what they think and what I think and so on. But that's kind of like a overarching ticket that I haven't put in anywhere yet. But I'll try and figure out where to put it in. Maybe I'll just put it under OLT because it's just easier. So that's 15 story points, and I'm the only one working on this, which should be okay. Hopefully, it's a lot, but we'll make do. Any questions?
Is there any multicast app work that needs to be done?
Well, so yeah, most of the multicast app work is already done. That was done and tracked under ONOS, which maybe wasn't the best idea, but most of it is already there. The reason earlier I said that like a lot of the multicast work will be trials, testing, because right now the way it works is it's all event based, and the app picks up an event and programs a data plane. Depending on how many like channel switches and things and how many events we get per second, that model will not work. So we'll have to kind of figure it out as we go along, see how many, because I get different numbers from different people. Different vendors tell me like, oh, they usually spec their hardware for about up to 500 channel hops per second, and other people say a lot more. So if it's the case where it's a lot more, like we're talking about tens of thousands per second, then the model we use event-based is just not going to work. It's just not going to scale. Where if it's 500, we can get away with it. So we'll have to see. Right? I don't really know, but it doesn't really. It's not a huge deal. Okay. Anything else? No? Okay. All right. Overlay and virtualization. Yunsun?
I'm going to finish the whole service chaining pipeline. That includes external network access rules and updating group buckets when VM is created or terminated. And I have to implement our proxy for gateway because I'm currently using F3 agent still, so I think we can get rid of F3 agent this end of this sprint. And the last one is requested from Scott that make controller configurable.
Yeah, we need to think about that last one. That was the email this morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to think about that because I feel like we could, even though Docker doesn't support that, which is stupid, we could make the Docker interface, the container interface, have a public IP, and in which case nothing changes. Right? We have to look into that, see how annoying it would be to do that. But I don't think it would be that hard. But we'll see.
Yeah, I was thinking that I can add network config fields for controller.
Sure.
Yeah, Ali, I think a public interface would be a superior solution if we can figure out how to do that.
I was looking into it this morning, and I mean you can definitely do it manually. The issue is like the manual process converting it to an automatic process might be a bit tricky, but we'll have to figure it out. It's kind of annoying that Docker doesn't do that by default because Docker has two networking modes. Basically host only and no network, which is stupid. But anyway, we'll see.
Yeah, if you could send me a pointer to your notes on how to do that manually, I would like to take a look at that too. That could be handy.
Yeah, sure. Well, I don't have anything together. It's all gathered from the internet in my head right now, but I'll try and put it together.
Thanks.
No worries.
Current proxy ARP handler won't be sufficient. Implementing a ARP proxy for gateway story.
The current proxy ARP implementation?
Yeah.
Probably the proxy ARP implementation we have has a lot of assumptions and different behaviors, and we were kind of opting for making it specific to Cord. For better or for worse. We'll see what that costs us in the long run. But right now it's a bit simpler to deal with it like that because we get all of our information we get from XOS. We can maintain that information ourselves and then respond to ARPs when we see them. I guess upgrade Open Cloud.
So this is the same ticket that we have in all sprints. So it's ongoing. Reinstalling the clusters. I guess we really underestimated the amount of points for this. Would it be helpful if we broke this up into smaller bits, like had a ticket for each cluster, or are we okay just kind of seeing this show up again and again?
So how related is this to? I mean, does this have any connection to Cord itself, or is it kind of a separate work effort?
This is a separate work effort.
Well, yes and no. I mean, yes and no. We are what we are bringing up on Open Cloud is the Cord stack. I mean, obviously minus the OLT, but it is a kind of install. So a lot of the processes we go through are the same. So it can go either way.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I'll leave it up to you guys if you want to break it up. It's really up to you. I mean, it'd probably be better if it was broken up so we can all get a better understanding of what's going on. But
so the problem isn't that it's a time consuming so much as it's blocked on hardware and all kinds of stuff like that.
I see. Okay. All right. Well, up to you guys how you want to track this.
All right.
Okay. Deployment and scaling.
Yeah.
Hey.
So on this, I'm trying to recover my password for Jira right now. Unfortunately, it's not working. So we do have that one you see right there that is an etcd-based implementation for clustering. Indications are that is unblocked now. That was blocked, waiting for some work from some of the other clustering Metastore to get going. The other thing we're going to be focusing on is kind of the bare metal to deployment capabilities for a pod, and those Jiras will be added as soon as I can get into Jira again.
Okay. So which stories are you going to slap in there?
It's really going to be bringing up the Cord pod from bare metal to operational, which means getting all the base systems installed, kind of bootstrapping that pod.
So are you going to create new tickets then?
Yeah, I'll create new tickets for those.
Okay, because you have a couple of tickets. I mean, the ticket you have in there is already 13 story points, which is...
And that's a one-person ticket at this point. It's broken down into subtasks.
Okay. Yeah, if you could break them up into subtasks or promote those subtasks a bit, because it's kind of kind of opaque. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Cool. And the vRouter?
Yeah, so we started building the vRouter based on code from the existing BGP router. One of the issues with that is that the BGP router right now is tunneling control plane packets through OpenFlow. So we want to basically keep those packets in the data plane and redirect them to the appropriate ports, and that's what we call control plane redirect. So I'm working with Saurav to build that, and then I also have to figure out how to or what's needed to get OSPF traffic working with that as well. And then I have kind of a prototype of the FPM stuff to receive routes from Cargo, which I need to clean up and submit. And then build a Medinet development environment for testing the stuff that supports OSPF and IBGP. And then there's some work from the TIG Mahindra team to make the connection parameters for Cloggers FPM connections configurable, which is almost done, but they're just finalizing that. And they're also working on setting up the router to talk to the Atlanta setup. So they're making progress there. And then finally, we're going to hopefully find some time to bring up the NovaFlow switch in our hardware pod.
Okay. So that's 20 story points.
It's not all me, though. There's 8 of those are the TIG Mahindra team.
Sounds good. Sounds very good. Okay, development pod.
So I think our main priority for this next sprint is to get the VTN app integrated with our development environment. This is a, I think, even though I see my picture next to this, Scott so far has really been driving this item, and I expect that Scott and I will both be working on this, including hopefully in a couple of weeks when we're out in California. I think that'll be a useful time for all of us to kind of get together and figure out how all these pieces fit together.
Okay. Okay, when are you guys arriving again? I saw some emails fly by, but I can't remember now.
I arrive Monday afternoon.
And I'm arriving Monday morning.
Monday, which Monday?
The 18th.
The 18th.
Yeah, same with me.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. And you're staying the whole week, right?
I'm leaving on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. And you know, that's so the only cord 314 is going to be for the sprint.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. That sounds good. Okay, and finally, XOS Core Cozad.
So we have a version of XOS that is running in multiple containers. So the GUI and the synchronizer and the database are all in separate containers. It's not completely working, but it's almost there. So one of our priorities is to get this working and merge our XOS configuration system in with this refactoring of XOS and basically move everything to that model. We also, I guess there's some work that needs to be done just for cleanup on how services fit into XOS, how you add a new service, and just kind of code cleanup for the synchronizer. So that is also that's cord 436, the top one. And I don't think that we were planning anything else for this sprint.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So there's 13 points. It's you and Sapin working on this.
Right. Yeah.
Sounds good. So we've gone through all the epics. I'm thinking of like starting the sprint this afternoon around 5 p.m. Pacific time. I was also thinking of adding a new epic, which is kind of like, adding a new epic or reusing a deployment epic, I don't know, to track work towards kind of building the entire pod, building it out physically. So I might just add the epic this afternoon, well, after this sprint, and add a couple tickets that I can know of right now. Just so
develop part is good enough.
So that was
develop.
Yeah.
Is the cloud lab setup.
Right. So it used to be Cloud Lab Development Environment, and I renamed it to Devel Pod because it's starting to get a little bit more general than just Cloud Lab. But if you feel if you want to have a separate epic for Devel Pod and you want to rename that one, then that's fine.
I mean, I'm okay reusing this epic. I really don't mind. I just don't want. I don't want things to get all tangled up. Epics are free, so we can create as many epics as we want. Right? It doesn't really matter. I don't know. What do you guys think? Any thoughts? None whatsoever.
I think it'd be fine to have one that is strictly about the physical pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Okay, so I'll do that, and I'll add that epic, and then we can throw stories in there as we go along. I'm guessing that epic will kind of like start with like two very small, one or two stories, And then as we go along, we'll just like stuff will get added into it because we'll realize that we forgot this, we forgot that. Yeah, sounds good. But at least it'll give us some target to work towards, because right now it's kind of like we're all still in our own little silos. We need to bring everything together a little bit. So I guess that's about it. Anybody have any questions or comments or concerns or something?
There are some issues with our epic. Are they still valid? We want to assign an epic for them.
Oh, issues without epics. This can go. Oh, this should have an epic. Actually, you're right. There's a fix coming out for this one, so I could throw it. I could add this one. Sprint. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, this one can go away. This can be deleted. This one I'll just put as a. This one I don't know what this is, so I'll just clean this up. I don't think we need this guy. This is a duplicate. What's this? OpenStack in a XOS in an OpenStack domain? I think it's Larry. You created this.
Oh, that we can get rid of that, I guess. It's on a. Well, no, that's not. I take it back. This is about running in a domain of OpenStack for someone else's OpenStack, as opposed to we set up and run OpenStack. Okay. So this would be Cord is a tenant in a pre-existing OpenStack, which ultimately we will need for AT&T.
Okay, so where do you want me to put this in some epic somewhere? Any preference of an epic?
Epic. Cozad.
Cozad?
Whatever that one was.
That one.
Yep.
Okay, so that's all good. All right, so let's see. Well, I can't look at it, but that gives us all issues. Let's see. So we have 39 issues and 155 story points. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. That averages out to about 10 story points per person, which seems reasonable. Okay, so any other questions or concerns or?
If you are planning to have some demos for the one app, we then start with track down what we want to demo there and what we should do to achieve the demo.
For ONS for Cord?
Yeah.
So the deal is right now for ONS is once we get a bit closer to ONS and we have a pod that's up, once we know what we have, we will make a demo based on what we have.
Okay,
and not do work for the ONS demo, because as far as I'm concerned, the ONS demo is a distraction. Right? We have the ONS demo, and 1 month after we have the field trial. Yeah. Right? So if we start doing hacks for the ONS demo, then we're screwed for the field trial. So we basically move forward. If we have something that works perfectly, wonderful. If we have some things that are missing, whatever. We're just done with that. Okay?
Okay, perfect.
We do plan, though, to show, unlike last year, Fabric and Cord Pod together.
I mean, if we don't have the Fabric and the Cord Pod up and working by the ONS demo, then
we have bigger problems.
We're in real trouble.
Yes, exactly.
I'll probably start looking for another job. And anyway, anyhow. So all right, so I'll create that epic for the actual like physical pod build and integration work. And I'll start the sprint this afternoon. And with that, we're all done. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Bye.